Hi, today we're going to be talking about the most important thing you need to be looking for on any coffee bag before you buy it. And the only thing I hate more than crappy coffee is a cheesy YouTube intro, so let's get started. Okay, so you're at the store or you're at a cool cafe and they have all their bags lined up and you're looking at the bag and it's got all kinds of cool information like the roaster name and details and some origin stories, maybe some nice tasting notes. Ooh, you got a little story about the roaster on the back, and you got some whimsical poems all over the side with some beautiful graphics. All that stuff is good and all that stuff is great, but there's one thing you need to look for. And if you don't find it, put the bag down, walk away slowly. We're of course talking about a roasted on date. You need to see a roasted on date. Now let me clarify, I'm not talking about an expiration date. I'm not talking about an enjoy by date. You see, some roasters unfortunately will try to be sneaky and they'll put an enjoy by date, but the fact is you don't know when it was roasted. And here's the thing, coffee should be enjoyed between around 5 days to a month after it was roasted. There's some variables in there depending on the type of coffee it is, but that's a good rule of thumb. If you wait till about 5 days after it's roasted and don't drink it past 30 days, you're in a nice sweet spot for some delicious fresh coffee. And coffee's meant to be enjoyed fresh, right? So how are you going to know how fresh it is unless you know the exact day that it was roasted? Now most artisan roasters are going to put that on there and you don't have to worry about it. But if you're at the store and you're looking at a couple options and you don't see that sticker, don't even bother with that coffee. All right, I'm at my local Whole Foods and looking at the wall of coffee. We'll take a look at some roast date examples. So this roaster, no roast date at all. No bueno, don't buy it. These guys, looks like a roasted date, but a best by date, which is like 4 months out. That's a big no-no. You do not want coffee that's roasted 4 months ago. Never. Let's check these guys out. Yep, we got a roast on date. That would be okay.
Success.
Here we got Onyx. They're a great local roaster. There's a roasted on date, but it is like 3 months ago, so this is no longer any good. So you can see if you're buying coffee at a grocery store, that's a really important thing to check, because you can easily get some old nasty beans. So now we're going to put a couple roasters through the test and see how they hold up. First we have Creation Coffee. They usually do a really good job. We have a sample bag here and sure enough, there you go. Roasted on date. Now that is of June 24th, which when this was sent to me was just a few days after it was roasted. So perfect. Good job, Creation. Now we have Penstock roasters. These guys do a really good job. And do we have, uh-oh. Oh, you know what? There it goes, hiding from me. Okay, yep. You can see right there. Roasted on date. Again, that was fresh roasted right before they sent it to me, so excellent job, guys. And finally, we'll take a look at Roast House. Now, okay, this is interesting. So, we have a date here. You notice tag, but you see the potential problem with that is if you weren't sure, you don't really know what that is. Now I happen to know these guys and I know that that is a roast on date, but it doesn't really say that, right? So someone could assume it's an expiration date. So it is really helpful and important to have that roasted on language so that you know exactly what you're dealing with. So there you have it. When you're shopping for coffee, make sure that it has the roast on date. It's so important to drink coffee fresh because you may have a bad experience and it's probably the fault of the freshness, and you don't want that. That's a horrible thing. You think you might be your brewing equipment, you think it might be the coffee itself, or maybe you think, that you're a big old dum-dum and you're doing it wrong, but I assure you that's not the case. There's a good chance you just have coffee that's not fresh. So make sure you see that, and happy brewing. Oh, hey, hope you enjoyed the video. If so, subscribe. If not, get yourself onto Starbucks and have a nice venti frappuccino.